Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Trusted, timely, tradition.
Welcome back. Well, the new year brought a new Congress and apparently a not-so-clean slate. But agriculture isn't losing its focus on policy priorities in the new year, especially when the Farm Bill could be a major agenda item for 2023. So what is the likelihood that we see a new Farm Bill this year? That's this weekend's Farm Journal report. The new year brought chaos on Capitol Hill as efforts to elect a new Speaker of the House proved to be a battle.
A speaker has not been elected.
Farm Journal Washington correspondent Jim Wiesmeyer says the initial chaos doesn't seem to bode well for what some hoped could be a year of compromise. But there's one issue where Wiesmeyer has hope.
The few who think we have a 6-month window in early 2023 with the new Congress to get a mini immigration reform through from both houses of Congress, the House and the Senate.
Wiesmeyer thinks immigration policy will face an early test this year.
I think the leaders in both political parties want to show the American public who are tired of the incivility in Washington that they can do something significant. And one of the biggest areas is immigration reform. But that begins with border security. The Republicans are insisting they won't move one iota unless they have border security. Once they get that, then they can give the Democrats some of the things that they want.
From border security to more flexibility with DACA, both sides of the aisle have a list of wants and demands when it comes to immigration reform.
So it could play out, but I think if we don't see it the first 6 months, it'll be politics as usual.
Wiesmeyer admits this week's debacle over electing a new House Speaker could also impact agriculture. And any concessions made when electing a House Speaker could spark budget offsets that possibly puts agriculture under a microscope. But an area where he's cautiously optimistic is the future of the Farm Bill in 2023.
The House, it's a jump ball because of new leadership of the House Ag Committee, G.T. Thompson. He definitely wants a new bill. He's going to get members from both political parties together early in January to ask them what they want and how much it costs, and they'll decide whether or not they can afford it.
The desire to see a new farm bill in 2023 is something groups like the National Corn Growers Association are also watching closely and watching for signals from the new House Ag Committee Chairman G.T. Thompson from Pennsylvania.
He's made comments that I want to get this farm bill done in 23. Well, first of all, we've got a lot of new people coming into the politicians in D.C., so we've got to educate them. We got to be bipartisan because that's the way this bill is going to work. We have to have both sides working together, and there's going to be education there. So it's going to be a challenge.
A challenge that NCGA is accepting, saying the biggest priority piece of the farm bill for corn growers is to leave the crop insurance portion alone.
It works. Farmers are using it. It's a good public-private entity. The farmer can use what percentage of he wants to insure his crop. So, you know, it's not that the old days they say, well, we're getting disaster payments from the government. We don't have to worry about that. We're taking our own measures in our hand with crop insurance, and that's the way we like it.
The American Soybean Association agrees, also saying that crop insurance is the top priority in the Farm Bill for 2023.
With our focus groups that we've had with farmers is definitely keeping the crop insurance in place. Was one of the priorities that they felt was very necessary. We need that safety net, want to keep that in place.
But as the Midwest saw good yields in 2022, farmers in the Plains and West struggled with moisture. That's why the National Sorghum Producers is pushing for relief.
Our priority from a Farm Bill standpoint or from a standpoint in government is we would love to see 2022 disaster assistance for our growers and our producers. They faced incredibly challenging and tough conditions from the Gulf Coast to South Dakota. It was just a tough year, and we would love to see an opportunity to have disaster assistance for 2022.
Craig Meeker, who also farms in Kansas, says those payments are vital for many sorghum producers.
Some producers really need that influx of cash to be viable going forward. And not only is it an incredibly important thing for producers, it's an incredibly important thing to rural Main Street and how we keep the mom and pop grocery stores, how we keep the mom and pop cafes open as well. It's just a thriving economy that depends upon producers having cash in their pockets.
While there are some natural disasters that will continue to require ad hoc payments, Wiesmeyer thinks with some slight adjustments in the Farm Bill, agriculture could avoid some of the extra payments that were needed the past couple of years.
They're looking at what were the reasons for those ad hoc disaster payments, and a lot of times I've been told that it was high deductibles in some states on crop insurance, and also in the specialty crop areas, that they have to improve the revenue assurance and crop production for specialty crops, of which there are a lot grown: California, Michigan, Florida, etc.
Whether a farm bill will reach a resolve in 2023 is anyone's guess, but it could also hinge on how the turmoil at the Capitol this week plays out.
In the end result, I think it's easier to get a farm bill than most people think. Just give the Democrats what they want for food and nutrition, and then you plug the holes in the farmer safety net and some crop insurance to avoid having to have multi-billion-dollar ag disaster payments each year.
Well, both Tommy and Brian expressed concerns over the trend of commodity prices for not just 2023, but 2024 and even 2025. We'll talk about what could be the big market movers, though, in USDA's report next week. That discussion happens next.
Closed captioning on U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by BASF. BASF, helping you to do the biggest job on Earth.